You know what they say, better late than never, but I also never want to hear anybody say that with regard to national security and public safety. But here we are with the case of the Liberal government finally banning Chinese-made Hikvision surveillance cameras. It's hard not to ask, how many of these things are still plugged in a year later, blinking and beaming data back to Chinese communists? Now, after being forced to admit through a written order paper question over a year ago that multiple federal departments were using cameras made by a company tied to the Chinese Communist Party, the government has now, just now, a full year later, in the most passive-aggressive fashion possible, banned them on a Friday of a long weekend in Ottawa when most bureaucrats won't be back until Wednesday. Sounds like they really wanted that news to just land with a bang, right? Well, the CBC, the Mint, the Bank of Canada, Transport Canada, RCMP, all once used Hikvision gear. But the list also includes Agriculture Canada, Parks Canada, Employment and Social Development Canada, Infrastructure Canada, and yes, even the Military Police Complaints Commission, all using these Hikvision cameras. The Privy Council office, which you'd think would know better, didn't replace their Hikvision cameras until April 16th of last year. Some departments said at the time of that order paper question, we don't know if we're using them. Others, like Health Canada and the Public Health Agency, played bureaucratic ping pong with Public Services and Procurement Canada over who is responsible for the little pieces of spy tech. Meanwhile, CSIS wouldn't say a word. That's not suspicious at all. All this after we went through the national theatrics of a foreign interference commission which focused largely on Chinese manipulation of Canadian politics. And now, with these cameras still likely watching as bureaucrats scramble to unplug them, the Liberals hope the public just forgets. But we won't, because here's the question. How many were still operating a year later? How many have recorded data we can't recover? How does a government that lectures us on national security let CCP-linked hardware run wild through its offices for years? This wasn't incompetence. It's willful ignorance at best. At worst, maybe complicity. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. We're going to do our best to find out how many government agencies allowed Hikvision cameras over the last year once it became clear that these things were in operation. To do that, we need to file access to information. To help offset our research costs and filing fees, please go to rebelinvestigates.com.